All right, folks, let's get to it on a Thursday edition. What's going on? Let's get right to the big charts. Update major markets, Bitcoin, NASDAQ, S&P 500. The party keeps rolling. Love these summer rallies. Just love them. I got to say, shout out to Ethereum too while we're doing it. Really put me in my place for a corrective bounce. Went right to my 3,500 target make break. So we probably should start there. Talk about this Ethereum Bitcoin ratio, looking at major harmonic patterns. What's that mean? Now it means something. 3 months ago, it didn't mean squat. Now it means something. So great to see everybody. Come on in. Yeah, I was a little late. Again, I have been having trouble getting this thing started. So I think I got it fixed out now. I don't know what it is. Sometimes I got to do a reboot to get it working right. But let's talk about Ethereum, Bitcoin. What the hell is going on with Ethereum after looking like a nosedive? And now it's doubled. It's more than doubled. Ethereum is more than doubled out of nowhere. So I want to look at what does that mean for not only Ethereum, but for the rest of the complex. I'm still going to separate Bitcoin out, and we'll get to Bitcoin in a minute. But this is a major development because we also have this massive bullish bat pattern we've talked about since the beginning of the year. But it was not until the last week that the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio actually did something to really matter. It's a beautiful bullish bat, but it matters. So all those people talking alt season and everything, now we have some verifiable evidence that we can start looking in that direction. This is so early, though. Kind of the beauty of what we do with harmonic patterns. We see it early. And looking at just like, let's just take a gander here at the last, I don't know, 30, 60 days. Because we've been dealing with this as Bitcoin has been rocking and Ethereum was dropping. I would say until the beginning of May, this thing, early mid-May, this thing didn't start even turning around. It looked like a ditch. No confirmation, and it finally came out right there. This is a monthly chart too, and it's going back 4 years. It's a massive deal. I would expect this to be, think of it this way, every harmonic pattern we talk about is a 3 to 5 bar window. So in this case, the monthly completed all the way back in February. 1, 2, 3, 4, month 5. Looking a lot better. By month 3, you were in business. At least you had a green bar. Something else to note. This really looks like when you get this kind of a move, guys, and I really want to highlight this, if it's a CD leg, final capitulation move, boy, that's exhaustion, price exhaustion written all over it. And now the fact that the big deal is that we are above the XA level. All right, we went in for a swim under 2.4. Okay, and then spent 3 months down here, but now we're above it. Not only we're above 2.4, which is the XA level, but it's a 3 bar breakout. That's 2.64. These are big numbers. So what does it mean? It means that finally, yeah, you're going to see rotation. It's not going to be all Bitcoin. And you can finally start to see some asset allocation move out to Ethereum and its associated partners in crime. A lot going on. It's a big deal. And even if we go on a 4-hour chart, okay, you can see how recently this was. Even above here, Even, what's that? That's Sunday. I mean, Sunday we were 2.4, 2.5. And it's so this week is it. You kind of finally get out of this ditch and even get out of the prior pivot resistance levels here. All of that's important. All of that is critical. So finally, here's some evidence. As we say, the data has changed. And now we can look at this as a pivotal month. Coming in here, what do we got? 2 more weeks. Close the month in 2 weeks. So you could even finish it right where it is. I'm now interested in going from XA to target 1. And then what would that do? What would that do for all of your altcoins and all the things you've been sitting on for a long time? We see it in XRP. I'll get to that in a second. XLM, back to life. Cardano, bastard. Still holding like only 20% of what I got snookered on that last one with Cardano. I will not be snookered again. And it's fully on. I laid out what the big targets were last time for Bitcoin. Now let's do it for Ethereum and these others that are running and going to continue to run based off of the fact that this has triggered now. 3 to 5 bars, HSI positive on the monthly, 3 bar breakout. Good enough for me. Target 1, 4.4. And we're also talking about potential pivotal, just massive potential generational shift. Yeah, I said it. With this kind of a setup, and this is going to take time. But guys, something's building here against this major pattern in crypto that we have never seen. Never seen. With this setup here, I would equate it a lot to like what happened in 2020 down here, and you know what happened from 2020 to 2022. But with the pattern, with the higher low, with the confirmation of the monthly long-term support, what happens? I want to spin your brains here for a second. What happens when we crack that downtrend line? Where does crypto go? Look what's happening already. Where does XRP go? Where does Solana go? Where does Cardano? Bastard. Still early. XLM, HBAR, Algo. Because when that does go, and we break this downtrend of the past 7, 8 years, from a harmonic framework perspective, what we read into that is a major shift to where this ratio changes in a dramatic way that opens up the floodgates for allocation to, finally Bitcoin size money. You finally see it. Of course, we're all in on Bitcoin. Love it. It's totally separate. We are talking about crypto. Okay? This probably should be a separate category for the other 98%. But for now, we're talking top 100 coins. You're talking allocation, flood in here, and finally get this thing moving. And resettle this whole spread between BT and Ethereum to get it back to the rest of the industry. Not just so hyper Bitcoin focused. But that's going to take a lot more money coming in. Ultimately, that's what that means. The money into Bitcoin is going to keep going. What this says to me, I read this as like an allocation meter. And the fact that, okay, you had the first run of fun 2016 all the way back down to 18, 19, did a perfect 886. It did a perfect 886 and then flashed it back up. What was that? A 50%, which is really like it was really like a 382, but it was a 50. Come back. That's a type 2, kids. That's a retest of that prior cycle, secondary cycle. New cycle begins. Yeah, I am giving Ethereum. I'll respect it. I didn't like it. I didn't like the long-term chart. I probably still don't. I like a lot of other charts better than Ethereum. That's for sure. Maybe Ethereum will prove me wrong. Our target has been 6,000 on Ethereum, and that's a tame target, but not so bad if you're going to scoop it up at 1,500, 2,000. But I think there's better plays elsewhere. I'm just using this as a metric because God knows all the other big KOLs are all over this. But let's get concrete reasons other than just, oh, hey, it's turned around. What do we have here looking left? It's big stuff. I mean, it's big bullish bat pattern that we've given 3 to 5. Retesting confirmation from the last cycle. And just looks primed for a move to target 1. Also, take a look at what's going on here. If this was a 5-minute bullish bat, if in the futures, I'd say buy it to target 1. Probably to target 2. But we're above the 50 now. Amplified down here. Totally bottomed. Totally. Get me above 50 and then really rock it. But it just triggered. You know, you got to understand. Since last week, really this week, was the trigger point above 2.5, 2.6. And you're targeting 4.45. 4.5 in general. And that little movement is going to kick off what I think will be a wider allocation. Like finally, you know, no doubt I've looked at this. I looked at this back in April. I looked at this, I think, in January. And I was like, yeah, we need more time. We need more time. We need to get out of that zone. We need to give us some confirmation. We need a green bar. Well, we got it. And the final piece to set off that reversal acceleration has just happened. So that's the deal. That's why it's so big. Also, I've always said that this cycle is about Bitcoin raging. The allocation goes to Bitcoin, and it's so heavy it overspills to the rest of crypto. But to do that, you need Bitcoin above 115. Check, done. We did 6 months consolidation at 102.5. Check, done, failed. Let's go. Now, we got Ethereum Bitcoin ratio opening up here. That's the light switch to go on. And it is early. Don't get me wrong. I mean, this literally just happened. It's something we've been waiting on. And I'll say I've been dismissive on it. And I still want to only focus on trending crypto. But this is a critical metric here. It's more important than Bitcoin dominance on its own. Questions? Great to see everybody. What's going on? I'm just riffing. Coffee's kicking in. God knows I need it. But this is where we're at. Listen, everybody, get over to harmonictrader.com. You want to know about why this is so critical and really learn it? Get over here, get your TradingView software for Harmonic Pattern Collection. Okay, HPC at sr-analyst.com. Send your TradingView username to that email address. We'll set you up 14 days. And then all the basics here, people. Okay, you want to get started, especially new folks. Just register now. as a basic member. All you need is a name and email, and that'll have all the videos and all of that. Okay. I'm thinking about doing another follow-up webinar. Like if crypto goes crazy, guys, I think we're going to have another session maybe at the end of August or maybe like very beginning of September, because I think you're going to want to, by the end of next month, you're going to want to have a full strategy play for crypto and the markets from now until like January. I think it's already begun, especially with the markets. I'll get to that in a little bit. But we're breaking out across the board. We're about to eclipse major targets. Stuff like this is firing up. You got to be excited. I mean, you got to be really excited. So, and you know how it goes for subscribers and software owners. You guys will be included on that. It's either going to be end of August or the 1st or 2nd of September. But probably just an all-out strategy session follow-up as we get to hit our big targets, Bitcoin, 210,000. That's essentially what we were saying in our last session on Tuesday. That's our new target. 160 is on deck. But what about stuff like this? And what about using Ethereum Bitcoin ratio to really now position for big moves in the speculative crypto? And I think it's probably maybe only the top 100 you really mess with. Let's get to it. No, like I said, it's going to probably be, guys, it's probably going to be like 6 weeks from now. And what I'm looking at is probably like, it's either going to be like August 29th or September 1st or 2nd. Because I'm seeing stuff like this across the board. And let me just kind of get to my point here. We've got Bitcoin doing what it needs to do. Ethereum back from the dead. Now really cracking Ethereum Bitcoin ratio. It's a big deal now. Now it's a big deal because it's turning. Inflection is in. Other stocks and related issues just rocking. So I look at this next 90, 180 days is, as like one of those time periods that you get once a decade, twice a decade maybe. I mean, just flat out, just raging returns. So that's where we're at. That's what this ratio suggests. As far as Bitcoin and any consideration I have on Bitcoin going forward, I would be pivoting off of every oversold 4-hour HSI going forward until further notice. Our last one was just on Tuesday, late afternoon, and that's down around, 116. And looking for this because, look, we have a bearish pattern on the 4-hour chart. We're in a super strong uptrend on daily and weekly. So this actually makes sense that we pivoted right off the hop level up here on that deep crab. That was 123, 250. Typically, we would look for target 1, but we ran into a counter HSI. So that's the climbing support. 116, 200-ish. A lot like what we had down here and down here. And I'd even say like back here at 104, despite the flush. Amazing. We were looking for 93, and it got to 98. Doesn't matter. That's ancient history now. What you're looking for now, and I mean like now as in now, this week, next week, let's finish this off, and then let's just continue right back up. I just don't see this coming back down. If we tagged 115 on the top side, Maybe, but I don't think so. I think this is going to just kind of stair step climb its way back to like 120 something, 123, 125, where 116 is a low end support zone now. You believe that? Couple more. Ethereum, what about it? So Ethereum hit 3,500. 3,500 was my number, guys. Still is my number. Oh, yeah, there you go. Just like what we saw here. Sorry, here's a 4-hour crab pattern. We talked about this last time. In a deep crab right off the low, what happens? We go dot, bearish confirmation, caps it, and then sideways finally lets it out. The counter signal was 29.60 and you went straight to 34.50. That's impressive. But that's what's going to start happening as this really climbs. I'm impressed. Okay, weekly is like this. And I said this last time, you have to break out of this wedge. And, you know, you were down at the low end of that range on the weeklies. Okay, fine. But to get bigger numbers, cycle breakout numbers, you got to break that downtrend. And I think it can. I really think it can. You get the whole cycle moving. Bitcoin's now moving. Yeah, you could get that to pop out. I'm impressed. Maybe the monthly's even better. Yeah, this monthly, here you go. Look, you're looking for this breakout. Hold on, let me remove this. Don't have a lot of patterns here. It actually broke the M and the W situation, the formation, but what you're looking for here is essentially what will end up being like a big ABCD minimum off of the wedge, like go 1-to-1 here, up to there. That's like 5,500 minimum, or even if we just took this kind of wedge breakout, that we get that, and this is why I would even still wait on Ethereum for the breakout, because if the breakout's really going to happen, it will take it out of that whole range, and you get to 7,000. 6,500 is still the target. Again, I'd rather be in Bitcoin. I'd rather be in XRP. I told you guys that was going to 320. We're there. Almost 330. I am. This is when this could go now. I started buying back in the last week. I don't have nearly the size of position that I want to have. I'm not worried about missing out yet, but I'll tell you what, above this hop, let's say we come back, a really unusual, this is a really unusual price formation here. I mean, kudos to all the people that held. Kudos. I was out. Because I saw this kind of a thing. It was that, and you break the uptrend. I was like, oh my God, come back all the way. What if we break 170, 160? We never did. And what happened next was, and this, again, this also is recent, where, okay, we see what happens when these start to break their downtrend. And we were saying that last week. Now I'm just thinking, all right, I think we're pretty clear. We're up here retesting that prior crab. Where's the secondary acceleration zone? It's above 353. It's, you know, you take that out and we keep going higher. Okay, that's when you do the big move. And what is the XRP? Hold on, market cap on XRP is kind of important to know now. Hold on, here you go. Where is that? Yeah, 193 billion for this. Nada. And check out the XRP chart, the market cap chart. All right. Same pattern, but in this case, we have a Gartley on the market cap right at 173, currently 193. Maybe we get the confirmation today, but I'm not, even if I was looking at that as a trade, let's say I said, oh, I like this Gartley here. I still wouldn't take it as a trade until I had some kind of confirmation. To me, this thing looks like it's just ready to melt up. You know, you're talking, this thing has put on 80 billion, 75 billion market cap this month. It's not pivoting just yet. And above 200 billion, and that's a good way to think about this. Bigger opportunities and chances really start to happen. And the number I have in mind, just a big fat round number, all right, would be 1 trillion eventually. It would be 1 trillion for XRP. Just based on how that Bitcoin thing melted up, if Ethereum's going to continue to melt, but for right now, where all the other ones are, all the major market cap on crypto, the other top 10, you know, you're talking a couple hundred billion in terms of moving it up, trying to maybe even rival Ethereum. Really close to basically never looking back. That's what this chart and its ability to sit 6 months sideways, and you didn't miss out on anything. If this fails, you have my permission to fat finger longs 360, 370, 450, all the way to like $8-9. The big patterns for XRP remain. You know, this whole situation that we talked about, now it's happening. We off of the pattern, we had this. It was an amazing, you know, went to 1618, 1902 area. It's like that to there. And then 1902 was like there. Off of even this, look, all-time prior peak here. Now you've got, what can we look at? 1618, that's above 200. 1902. Get the picture, that's 250, 240. That would put you XRP like $4. Or let's say we go crazy, like Bitcoin. Because that is our assumption. We want 3618. We'll assess 2618 first, obviously. But, you know, we want 3618 for the cycle. That's like 450 billion. That's a double plus, and you're looking for this thing to grow like Bitcoin now. A lot going on there. I mean, a lot. A lot to where getting long in here, staying long in here, you really could be looking back at permanent lows. Permanent. Like, hey, I'm done messing around with $1 and $2 and $3. I'm XRP. I'm ready to go to like $5, $7, $10 and realize this whole crypto prophecy. Either way, I'm running for targeting these 3618s. That's more than a double in XRP. I think that's not with the way it's going. And again, guys, I'm trying to talk charts here. I'm not a crypto guy, but I'm talking how I look at charts, patterns, measurements, targets as the kind of the filter against the narrative. I'm glad there's narrative. I'm glad people think XRP is going to be the new Federal Reserve. You guys talk that between that and Bitcoin and Ethereum, whatever. You talk that up all you want. But the chart definitely here is going parabolic. Parabolic in a way where you have a big first thrust move and you had 6 months to figure out, is this just an impulsive move and it's going to come right back down like it did there and it did there? Nope. For the first time, really, since XRP did this back here when it was 8 billion. That's it. We know this is not an impulsive move. This is actually wave one, retracement. You're on wave two, about ready to go. I think immediately like a 1618 advance on XRP. You're already there. And in fact, if it was a Gartley, you would not be blowing through that area in this fashion. It's strong, guys. It's I just, it's where it needs to finally be to do the much bigger move. And I always ask myself, because I had a ton of XRP back in December. I know I was thanking God when we were back down there at like 170, 180. I was like, oh, thank God I got out at 270. Now I'm saying, thank God I'm getting back in, even at or above prices where I was ditching out 6 months ago. I think we are there with fat finger longs, guys. Throw the dart, your favorite crypto, as long as it's a top 100, and let's go and see where we are in 6 months. What's going on, Stara? She's saying, or he's saying, sorry, they are saying Bitcoin's likely to take second place in top assets by market cap ranking. I guess you're assuming XRP will supplant Bitcoin. I look at it like this, okay? The Bitcoin thing, when I first started really diving into Bitcoin, it was like 3,000. And I watched it go from 3 to 20 and then back to whatever that was. 3 or 4. All right. And then finally got convinced on the last cycle to hodl some. It's kind of like, all right, if this thing is going to be what it's going to be, this is probably the point. And it's proven itself out. As we said on Tuesday, the Bitcoin prophecy is real. It's just, what is the price? At what price do we realize it? I think it's $1 million. I don't care anything above $1 million, but I think it's $1 million in 5 years. On this cycle, it's 210 minimum, 220 with we could have a whole lot of overspill. Can we say the same now for the rest of these guys? That's really what you got to ask yourself. Is XRP really going to become a big deal and go from 200 to 400, 500, 800 billion? Can Ethereum finally get back up and break out? Possibly. Yeah, they look good. What about Solana? I mean, Solana, and talk about the other ones. Maybe they have their day. Sol market cap. Let's look at that chart. It's a good. I recommend that, not only price, but guys, think about these market caps and where these companies could go. All right. Look, Solana market cap just shy of 100 billion. It was almost at 150 at the top. So I think a lot of people are comfortable with Solana being close to 100 billion. That's pretty crazy. But comparable to, say, like Coinbase and some of these others, it's pretty close. And you got some future premium built into that, assuming this is going to be some kind of future exchange. More important is, at what continuation point does this market capitalization continue to increase? Did we break that uptrend? I mean, that was, you go back here. I mean, that was an amazing bat pattern. And you spent almost 2 years going sideways, but still, that's the irregular nature of crypto. It worked out. Now what? What's this peak here? It's not a 1618, I'll tell you that. It's It's probably more like a 127. No, that is a, how is that a 1618? How is that a 1618? That was, huh. I'll have to look at that. Maybe, do I have my settings right? 1618, perfect 618. Jeez. Let me check this. That's right. I don't know what, I think I was looking at something else. Maybe I was looking at Binance coin with this. Regardless, that is a 618, and we are back looking to at least should retest that big 1618. Coming back now. I mean, Solana's been not as impressive as I think a lot of people thought it could be. It did an amazing move, 10 to 200 or 220 it was. But since peaking out last fall, I mean, it was right after the election, back here, a week after the election, this thing was done. What happened? We rolled over like that. Okay, early signs of inflection there and there. And then spent 6 months, 8 months down, finally coming back up. So if you want that, you're looking for that move in Solana, it finally looks like it wants to go now, which is break out above that 96 billion. I think that's like 180 on the chart. I'll flip over in a second and go back to 220. And I mean now. I mean literally now. Like this week sealed it. So I'm pretty good with that. After several months. Now you have what you need to see, and sometimes that's the problem. Sometimes you need to let it do its consolidation for the length of time that's here. Currently 172. I'm looking for 227. But the fact that this week, literally the last 3 days, we have been able to push it and continue after last week there and then the 50 level here. We should begin to see that accelerate this week, next week. The big ones are in a fine position. Couple more. What's that? I don't know. I'm just kind of riffing here. I got it. Yeah, I don't look. I don't. Why would not? Why would you not get $5 on XRP? I'm sorry, Mr. Pips. All the things that you guys wanted to see, which is it comes down to asset allocation. All right, money's pouring into crypto. It's pouring into AI. These are new areas. They've been around for a few years, but I mean the mainstream allocation is starting to go. Where you go from 1, 2 trillion to many, 5, 10 trillion of the total assets under management. And I showed you that chart last week of the top 20 or top 100 markets by market cap. And so now crypto's getting that next wave of allocation. And again, it's the big ones. So Solana, ready to go, ready to rock. Like if you were looking for a spot, where would you go on this? And I keep coming back. If you are interested in looking for entry points, pull up the 4-hour chart. And you're getting, I think, one a week. Quality signals once a week with yellow dots like that. 4-hour yellow dot. Counter against the bearish pattern. So, 162 up to 174, mission accomplished. Or even back here, 10 days ago, you had double dot down at 147 to 163. That's what I'm looking for going forward, with the assumption that the long-term, weekly, and daily time frames are fully in charge to the upside. So just wait for the 4-hour retracements, guys. Again, get over to harmonictrader.com and send your TradingView username to hpc@sr-analyst.com and get the software 2 weeks free. And let's do the 30-day right now. HPC 30 for the next person who types that into the chat. We'll get you set up with 30 days of the software, 30 days of the gold membership so you can follow along. I'll even let you come to the seminar. I'm really starting to brainstorm on what I'm going to do with that. But that's going to be like 30th, 29th of August, something like that. What's the indicator with the dots? The dots are the confirmation. And my suggestion is watch the last strategy session from the June 20th video. Hey, Nate Thompson, you're one of the few people actually awake. Nate, send me your information over on the Discord link that I just posted. DM me with your full name, email address, and TradingView username, and we'll set you up. All right, one or two more. You guys, show me some crypto, please. Not crypto. And I'm going to just finish up with Binance Coin, which look, my target on Binance Coin for the whole cycle is still like 1,200. And now we're looking, look at this. All right, talk about counter HSI against the shark. It's like this. Shark to 5-0, send the 5-0, and then what happened? We have a T2. We have a counter HSI at 600. I expect that above the hop real soon. You know, look at this long. Yikes. My goodness, guys. This is quite a chart. I mean, there's just so much here where the bearish pattern helps you. Look at that weekly chart on Binance Coin. And we did the type 1 there for the 2. We're in the type 2 already, and we're way 30 bars. We're 30 plus weeks easy. What's that mean? Well, I would be looking for this to pierce 740, 750, and then once we get above 750, it's just nothing between there and like 1,100. There's a couple of ways to frame this out. We could, and this is the easiest. You know, the real simple target on BNB is just to say, okay, I'm going to assume that this is just a normal corrective A, B, C, D. And that's at a 786. This should be a 127. That's like 835, 840. Now. But if the shark failed, and this is a price discovery move, 1618 takes you to there. I think it's like 1050, 1030, 1020, something like that. You know. But I think the way this is building, and that you broke out above the prior high and now you're ready to go, there's just a lot of structure here that suggests this thing could, it's a bigger breakout. There's no M or W formation. This is also something I want to point out to you guys. Like the fact that I don't have, is it there? I could possibly do something like this, but even that is a really weak argument for a crab pattern 1618. But all of this says BNB to 1,000 now. I don't think it's probably a good way to go without getting burned. And the other thing that, just looking at it, what have we been saying for months? If you're going to get crypto, make sure it's trending. And that is certainly in a multi-year, decade-long uptrend that is about to break out. These charts are prime, man. I'm telling you, the last 2, 3 weeks, this stuff came together and decided to really put on a show. Couple more. What do you guys have? All right, give it to me. Right from the top. Flare. We looked at that, right? That was in a great spot. That was on Tuesday, if I recall. That had like 3 or 4 patterns. I think, with this wasn't the case a month ago, guys. Look at Flare. Holy smoly. Let's go. Love the type 2. Big breakout. I mean, it's gonna take time to get there, but if you're looking for spec plays that can do something, Flare is the ideal harmonic pattern, type 1, type 2. This is also for new folks. Please understand, this whole thing is so exact in terms of the ideal framework. There's type 1, the first completion of the bat. And then what happens here? Weekly chart. Yeah, it spends 15 weeks sideways, but there's the confirmation. 6 weeks later, all right, finally we get the inflection. Goes to target 1. That is a type 1 reaction, folks. It's type 1 because it responded off of the pattern. It went to our minimum target zone. It has to go to T1. That's minimum, but between T1, T2, mission accomplished. And then we look for the return phase. This was helped by a counter signal, counter bullet, bearish HSI. What's it do? It sends it back down. There's the type 2 retest. Okay? Not the greatest confirmation, but you did have, I would look at it like that. That matters. This confirmation matters on Flare. And now you have a secondary. That's fine. Because my focus is, if this is really a type 2, I'm looking for 4 cents, not 3. And this helps this week. That's a 3-bar breakout, just like ETHBTC. Go to 4 cents. But you're there, and you can finally accelerate. Also, look, HSI is above the 50. That wasn't the case 3 weeks ago. Pepe. All right, time to rapid fire. Okay, rapid fire round, guys. I'm going to go through the chat. Shy, Pepe, like 4 times. You got it. Let's go. Pepe, I'm going to give you entry levels and price targets. Not much on the weekly. Didn't Daily have a bat or something down here? It's not bad. Yeah, it sure did. There's the bat. The bat was 857, now 1324. Oh yeah, back to back. Shark, crab, bat. I would still say that's going to be range bound, but again, go back to the 4-hour time frame. Let's say you're going to assume this is going to keep going up, which is what you should be doing. You still have to wait for stuff like this. HSI right there, that was at 1210 or stuff like that. I would say back at 1210. Look for down here. We are going to get a bunch of this, guys. So don't feel like you have to FOMO shit, because you don't. Your best opportunity is about to come to you. And it's going to look like this on a lot of 4-hour charts. We're going to get these initial bearish patterns off of the low. We're going to have a type 1 reaction to T1, T2, something like that in the dollar sign. It is the next pullback after this that I would expect the blowout scenario. So if you're here looking at Pepe and you want to get in, please be patient. Your monster opportunity is going to come, and get ready for that. Because after it bottoms, the next bullish HSI dot, whatever, you've already made the progress to get off the low. Let that come in, back on the trend line, and go. Got it. Floyd, I'll get to crude oil in a second. I'll get to those other ones. FWOG for Jonas. What's up, Jonas? Why is everybody on this one? A lot of people, Ponzi was talking about this, Mitch was talking about this. FWOG, should we run it? I mean, is this something that I need to get in on? FWOG, because Ponzi's been all over these, man. I'm gonna get Mitch back on here. I don't know if Mitch is in here. If he is, shout out to Mitch. Mitch and I want to do a live stream, joint live stream. We'll probably do it next Thursday. Mitch likes it. And I want to get Ponzi back on here because props to him, man. He held firm. When I was like, I want to see Bitcoin 115. He's like, let's go. Fartcoin. And look at Fartcoin now. Friggin' Fartcoin's 147. The guy was buying 88, 90 cents. When the fart coin was stinkiest, he was there scraping off the bottom. Either way, FWOG is a beauty. And you're here at 4 cents. This is one where it's a recovery play, but damn it, guys, back-to-back stuff like this, maybe we could go. XA level is 3.4. You're currently 4.9. I'll keep this on the radar because target one is 30 cents, 31 cents. That would be a 6x. Can do. Can do. How about Fartcoin? Just because it's so ridiculous. And a shout out to Ponz. If you're not following Lieutenant Ponzi, guys, get on with Lieutenant Ponzi over on Twitter. And most of you guys know Mitch Ray. Get over with Mitch Ray, too. It's time to get with the crypto boys. If you've been slacking and you're not on Mitch's stream or Ponzi's thread, get with it. These guys will get you up to speed so fast. He was scraping it right. It was beautiful, Ponz. If he's in here or listening later, just a shout out to him. Because I was like, come on, man, Fartcoin, really? Let's get some like Robinhood. Let's get some Palantir. No, damn it, Fartcoin. And look, there you go. Way to go, kid. Couple others. Let's keep it moving. Ondo. Yeah, look, all those names, Ondo and Sui. They're all ready. Because why? Because Bitcoin is there to attract the flies. Finally. Ondo's another one where, okay, full 886 reset. Well done. What do we got here? Ondo's nice. It's nice. Nice. Yeah, could catch a bid. I probably want stuff that's raging a little bit more, but I like that. I mean, Ondo is in a good spot. Also, just take a look at the downtrend. Do note, one of the things that I like to show, like the purpose of this show, all right, is to obviously talk harmonic pattern framework, but ultimately to give you guys levels and key technical movements, market movements against technical levels to really trigger low drawdown, immediate opportunities. This is another one. And remember, we've been waiting for like these downtrend breakouts. Well, that was a week ago that we truly broke out of this multi-year downtrend. And now they're following through. Be aware of that on anything you're looking at. Couple more. Thanks, Mr. Jackson. I appreciate you too. Yeah, hit the likes if you guys enjoy subscribing here. Enjoy what you're seeing. Hit the subscribe button. I don't know where I'm at. I'm at 33,900 subscribers. I'm told that that's just a number. Litecoin. Shout out to Randy Hipper. Miss Teen Crypto. This is her favorite. It is, a personal one for me because it was the first crypto I ever bought. And I got out of it at a crazy low price. I mean, I bought it crazy low, sold it crazy low. But where is, hold on, let me get a long-term feed so I can relive this misery. There you go, Litecoin. Oh, those are the futures. Let's get the spot. Spot Litecoin. Well, I first bought it at, I think it was like 20 something, 30-ish, and rode it to 75, 80, and then, why is that not doing it for me? And then watched it go to 300. And then come all the way back down. Regardless, I like what you got here. I mean, I like the patterns. Let me get a good spot price with a lot of data here. You're at 100. And I really think what you're looking for, yeah, that's not going to work. Hold on. What you're looking for is the big breakout on this multi-year, long-term Ethereum style. I mean, really like an Ethereum style wedge that is taking shape. I don't know what's going on. Why am I only getting that much data? Regardless, that's a little better, finally. Here's the long-term range. And this is the other consideration, guys, as we get in deeper and deeper to the end of this year. There's Litecoin. Okay, Litecoin. Where's the real breakdown? Like this from the last cycle. Can we say it was there? Maybe, but I would also say look at that action too. And that would be kind of a last ditch move. You're almost there. I think at like 110, 115, you really could start to set it free, but you have to get above 150. Be aware of that to do anything. Again, that's not trending. You put that in the recovery class. I don't think you're going to get hurt. Someday you'll see a double. Maybe, someday you'll see 200-ish or 250. Probably better stuff. Yeah, SUI and SEI, I don't know, those are always lumped together. SUI, I said that was another one that was always good. People talked highly about it. There you go. Now at 4, and I think this could go price discovery. So be aware of that this last retest at 2 was a critical bottom. You're at 4. But what you're looking for truly, you're looking for that to get clear for 450. Whole bunch of patterns down here. It was a shark to shark, crab with the 5-0. You guys see all the levels. We're at the top range. 418, 420. Where does it go ballistic? I would say above 450. I mean, really, to do something major, 450. That versus SEI is not as far along. SEI's SUI continuation. So for that to break out and go 1618, a lot likelier than SEI, which is recovery candidate. Not bad. I mean, you were, what was that? Okay. A month ago, you're down here at 10 cents. Now you're 15, 20 cents. Now you're 35. What do we got? I mean, I think, you can start looking, but trigger off of the 4-hour. My point being is that we're going to get these really spectacular breakout thrust moves. I always call them like a first thrust move. And so let that happen. I mean, don't jump in. Don't get lulled in there and thinking, oh, look, here, like, something like this. Oh, it's a major breakout. I'm just going to jump in because it's going to go like that. No, what happens, even on the strongest moves, you get the thrust up, you get a yellow dot, and then it'll chill for like 30 bars. Go figure. Because if you're trying to buy a bearish signal because you're so freaked out, all right, tell yourself, I got to wait 30 bars, no matter what, if it fails or whatever. Because you're looking for this kind of an opportunity. Looking for that kind of an opportunity. We have on SEI, there's a counter bullish continuation HSI. It's still probably 2 or 3 bars away from another yellow dot, but I'd be looking at that yellow dot. That, again, we're going to get these. Just let them come to you. Couple more. Algo, like this. So Algo, I guess, and is starting to get into the same conversation as H-bar. And let's look at the market cap chart on Algo, because that's impressive. Yeah, it's $2 billion. That's a nothing. And I guess H-bar's got BlackRock behind them, which has always been kind of the lingering fact, and maybe this too. Because Algo, again, market cap chart, great chart to look at. Something has happened here with Algo and a few others that for the first time in a long time is critical. Algo here on the price chart and market cap chart has put in a higher low on the weekly with a higher HSI dot. Things can happen when you get that situation. Things can happen. A lot like back here where we had HSI and the dot, and then finally the secondary dot, or even that tertiary third dot, all of these higher than the prior reading, that matters. Again, get the software. Send your TradingView username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. Get with the program, people. 14 days. But now we've got it. And look at the algo situation that literally 2 weeks ago was the check back retest, and now big bullish engulfing 3-bar breakout continuation. You can't ask for a better setup long term, where your weekly time frame is just in a super bullish position. Here you go. Here's the spot price, 30 cents. 30 cents, okay? What do we got here? All-time high was what? 280. Okay. This is clearly recovery, but again, with everything else finally in a position, the recovery possibilities here are, you're looking off of that support pivot, which is like 18 cents. It's no doubt you're chasing it. I'm not saying chase it, but maybe this comes back to 25 cents or 23 cents. It's for the first time in a year, almost 2 years, it's worth it. It's worth the shot. And in many years, it's the first successive higher bullish reading than we have. And you're thinking 382 recovery, kids. You're thinking like 125-ish. It's in a spot. These were not in the spot 2 months ago, a month ago. And it's going to take a few more weeks to get fully developed, but there. You're there. A couple other ones. Yeah. Okay. What's up? Doi wants to look at AVAX. We talked about that last week. And again, recovery. Maybe they'll catch a bid now. Even a week ago, I just was like, yeah, it's down here at low 20s, mid 20s. It's still at 22. Okay, look at that weekly chart. It's amazing. It actually is a perfect type 2. You got to be kidding me. What happened there? Maybe we should look at Avalanche. I don't know why that's not a type 2 right there, but this should be the 2. And now that should be the confirmation right there at $19. I like it. It's another one. It's a beautiful type 2. Probably, yeah, you could just go right now at 22. Well, you're 22.70 at the moment. Let's see the 4-hour chart. Interesting. And this is new. I mean, this is all right. Bat pattern here. It's a type 2. There's some things on the 4 hour. Let's put that on severe watch. It still has a lot of work to do, but it's a nice chart. I mean, you can't get around the fact that it is a type 2 on the weekly with confirmation, and it just started to do a 3-bar breakout. Wasn't there a month ago. Now it's there. I mean, you've had it. You did the retest. Yeah, I mean, that's nice. Gotta like that. A couple more. H bar. We did Binance coin. I think H bar's got to be in the conversation, right? Just because of who's involved. H bars like this. Wow, 24 cents. We were 13 not long ago. Weekly was there. I mean, yeah. I think we had a crab down here, didn't we? There she is. All right, I wouldn't chase it just yet. You know, you have a daily HSI here. Okay, so I'd expect that to at least pause. But you got me. I'm down with that. I mean, H bar, great pattern on the daily at 13. Not the easiest because where it formed and without confirmation, but it's more about the weekly chart, guys. Look, that weekly chart. That's impressive. And the weekly confirmation was more like 17. Can this get back to all-time new highs? I think so because this is a little bit different than a lot of these that have yet to really break out. You know, this is not above. It's like that and that. Hold on one second. One second. Anyway, so what else? Oh man, Floki. Are they moving though? Like, why would you do just a preference question? Why a Floki versus not a Bitcoin or XRP or H bar? I mean, Floki's. Yeah, can we recover some of this? I don't know. Sometimes I think people just kind of get caught on an idea of why they should be in on something and just stick with that. Floki might be it for now because you're at that 1430. You just hit that. Not yet, my man. Not yet. Near protocol, you guys, man, a lot of crypto. Near protocols like this. Come on. Come on, Near. Did that ever get off the low at, what was it, 2? It sure did. That's been a disappointing one. Really, I've been looking at Near since like $4. Um, yeah, give it time. But stuff like this, if they really don't, like let's say everything pops off and gets crazy, and Near just kind of gets to target 1 or target 2 and can't get above it, just get out. Just get out. I don't know about that one. Fat, yeah, 1 or 2 more, and then I got to get over to stocks because we're running late because I got a late start and I still got things to do. Uh, FET, Artificial Super Intelligence Alliance, hasn't moved much. You know, we're down here at the daily. You got a pattern down here. There should be a dot. I don't know why there should be a dot here, guys. I have to look at that because this has been retested 1 and 2. There should be a dot around 65 cents. And I'm going to just say, can we get a 65-cent retest? Of course, I'd take NVIDIA over this any day, but they haven't really run. What about AIOZ? That was the other one we looked at for a long time. Had a big move last year and gave it all back. AIOZ's like this. Boy, I'm running slow today. Super slow. Hold on. About 40 cents. I don't know why that's not. It's just so slow to load. Come on, people. Don't have much there. I mean, you're down here 40-ish cents. Maybe let's save that for next time. I do like the algos, the H bars. Yeah, let's what's up, Alec? Asking for you got some low-key spot positions on alts, 2x from the lows since bought. Should I flip them into 3x, 2x, 3x longs? Maybe. Maybe. I do think we're going to have a retracement pretty soon. We're in the tail end of this up summer push. I'm looking at a few different things. I mean, look, Render was the other one that, in terms of crypto stuff, we have been looking at. Can it push off of this double HSI? $4. I mean, double. There you go. Boy, I don't know why that's so slow. This type 2, 408. I'm watching that. A couple others. Did Cubic ever get that bid? A couple of you guys were asking about this last week. I know. Wasn't there? There was something here on the daily. Boy, this is. I don't know why I'm running so slowly today. That's Cubic. Nah, I really don't have much there. I'm gonna dig deep on some of these over the weekend. I'm really focused on the bigger ones, guys. The big market caps. That's gonna get the money. We did Litecoin. Yeah. Let's go to the stocks. BTBT, Bit Digital. They explode because of the Ethereum thing. Come on, it'd be great. I don't know why this is slow as anything. Yeah, look, now you've got a new narrative on Bit Digital that maybe you should be looking at it. Remember, the monthly chart on a lot of these have only woken up in the last couple of weeks. And I don't know why that's so slow. Can't even get that thing to load. Bear with me, guys. What the heck is going on here? Maybe it's TradingView server. I'm not able to load a chart here. Bit Digital. Yeah, it's a nice, okay. The bat, but I'm more interested on the weekly stuff. Remember, we've talked about Bit Digital with the $12 target one. Could this finally be the reason? Go to an Ethereum strategy. Okay, that's a good narrative change where people could be sucked in to say, all right, this is going to be something, and just run it. We've seen a few of them running pretty well. Look, I'm going to say this about these kind of plays. All right, they're good ideas. Bit Digital. Check out this. It was $1.85 back at the bottom of April. And that was an amazing low, amazing opportunity. But when you're back here and nothing's moving, and it's like this, I mean, great idea in hindsight because now you see this, but seriously, what's going on here currently, and this is why I say don't get too wrapped up in your FOMO just yet. Get ready, but this is like a one-off, 1 week move, and then you do something like this for months, 3, 4 months at going nowhere. So be aware of it. Bit Digital. I'll wait for the next retracement, the next HSI, but it's an interesting start, and it definitely matters. The start to a move is critical in dictating like what are the possibilities, how far that could go. Yeah, I knew one of you guys would get to these eventually. Sharp Link. Okay, another area not to get caught up into. These are crazy moves, truly crazy moves, and then people try to get in there and day trade them and get caught. Be careful. Go to a 4 hour, go to an hour, stuff like that. This is the Sharp Link Gaming, currently 35, was 110. I mean, that's insane. 3 to 120, back to 8. Okay? Be aware of that. Now, yeah, just recovery run up, probably because Ethereum started moving. And yeah, I don't have really anything, maybe except for looking at like hourly pullbacks like this. Look for your dots. Look when you get the software, okay, because the first question everyone's asking themselves when they're looking at a chart, is it up or down? And just go to the last signal, the last dot. For here, the dot up here, that's a bearish dot. Let it retrace. Let it give you something like this. And again, this is good for any trending asset. You got an HSI dot. It's not official until top of the hour, but definitely start looking if you wanted to play this continuation trade. 35-ish, 36. We'll see at the top of the hour. And you're looking for that to continue, like here and here and even back here. There are ways to play it. If it flashes and it's up huge one day, put it on the radar. But don't trade it. Just put it on the radar and come back to it a few days later or the following week. You'll get another opportunity. Beautiful, though. BMNR, that was the other one. Is that the other Ethereum play? Yeah, I mean, nothing here. Confirmation-wise, we do have the bat on the hourly. All right, but what's wrong with the bat? Walk through it. Look, confirmation's so key. You need to have confirmation. Beautiful pattern, T1. That was a week ago Thursday. Also known as a week ago from today. Confirmation, T1. Go up. 46 is the number. What are you doing the first 30 bars? Pop back down, pop back down. That's a scratch. At this point, it's a scratch. No matter what. I mean, you're here. There's T1. 30 bars are there. What'd you do? You reacted. You went counter. So you're looking at it like that. It's a scratch. What do I need to see? Because here we are, 78 bars later, still nothing. Give me a counter, give me another confirmation signal down here. Until then, I can't really give you anything. It probably takes you the next week, but that's how to line it up. Not a bad idea. I'm not knocking the idea at all. I want to optimize at the right price. Couple more, and I'm going to do a quick wrap up on the big indices. GME, kind of going in reverse. 23 is another one. You're waiting for that someday payday. And we did have, look, GME is another one. I don't know. Pull out the Ouija board. And I don't know why the fascination and the absolute kind of fanboy reaction to this stock, this company. For whatever reason, I don't know. But where's the signals? Again, you come in here, what's the last signal? There's the weekly chart. Well, last signal is a bearish arrow down. Where's the prior bullish? Well, it's back here. So around 23 support. Clearly, 1, 2, 3 signals all around 34, 35. That's your resistance. You cannot expect much until something develops. Pattern, another pattern, or maybe something like this. Double dot on the daily. You've got a shark retesting, and that's all around 20, 21. You got to show me. I'm more of the opinion that I'd rather be chasing a little bit after I get confirmation than to just kind of stick it in right at the number and hope for the best. It's never a good strategy in anything you do. Anyway, I just, hey, if you got the GME itch, buy 100 shares and just let it sit. There's better opportunities all over the place. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, look, let's go to the markets. NASDAQ up again. Here we go. Guys, 23,100 to 23,500. That's the area. Now where are we? We're 23,252. We are above the hop. Okay. We retested the confirmation dot on NASDAQ 100 futures. All right. That was the first spot we were looking at, 2309. Excuse me, 23040. But the hop, 23146. What happens? One day, pause. 2 days later, we're all-time new highs again. This is what a bypass failure looks like. Straight on through. It just gives a middle finger to the whole setup. I mean, you're here. There's the initial completion. What is it doing 30 days later? It's straight up. What's that tell you? It says strength. And then, interestingly enough, 30 days off of that completion was Monday. So the pattern's losing its mojo, and the confirmation signal up here within the 3 to 5 window is like, hey, I don't care about you. We were looking at 23,146 for a long time. And now I think we've got to look higher. We got to look more like, I think immediately like the 23.5, 23.6 area. It's this one with the contract adjusted. You've got some overspill here. So it's 23. I'm thinking it's 23.6 now. I'm looking for a level for the top for the summer. And so what I'm saying is we're still going to be up until we tag 23.6. The other thing from last week, guys, so I'm super clear what I'm expecting going forward is that by definition, we failed the pattern. So we had this butterfly. Okay, we did the type 1. There, hit target. We came back for the return. We have the type 2. Still no confirmation. We blow out the levels, the zone, and the prior inflection. That's failure. That's failure. And then just look at what the indicators are showing us on the weekly. Just same thing. We said this weeks ago. We're looking for that to go up into the overbought and then go and expand and go higher. Same with amplified. So you should be looking over the next 2-3 weeks, especially with earnings coming up. This looks like a bigger push. It looks like a bigger push, guys. Not later, but now. So we're 23,250. So what? Like, I won't even think about it anything. Like this week, next week, 23.6. But the bigger deal, ever since this V-shaped recovery started, I'm just going to leave it here. 1618, 26.6. And until there, I don't care. Hope we get a retracement. Hope we get a 3-5% week pullback. But 26,500 is 26,600. That's the futures chart, Nasdaq 100 futures target, and it's going to continue to be led by the semis. Okay, semis 57.37. I mean, beautiful. This is amazing, and we're almost about to break out. We're at the all-time 886, and remember, the monthly chart's like this, and you should be looking at this monthly chart. Okay, monthly chart. Depending on the ETF actually did the 1-2. The index does not have the 2. This would be the type 2. But regardless, the levels are clear. Look, hop level 61.45. That's it. It went straight through XA. It's green, green, green. And HSI monthly is massive. What I'm thinking is that we get above 61.50, guys. I've said this many times in the past month, that will spring the breakout where you go 2618, like, you know, you're looking at like another 20% higher into next year. And that's how you get NASDAQ to those crazy numbers. Yeah, I hear it. I look, you can do any kind of measured move. The question was, or the comment was, to take a measured move off of a different peak. That's fine. I mean, look, you can do standard technical analysis, measured move projections. You can do the harmonic stuff. All of them are pointing higher. They're pointing higher, and the continuation is now. I would love, I said this as well, can we see something that's like, can we get just like a little pullback like this, you know, right before the fall, and then into September, and then go? Because we know this retracement from last year into April, that's it. That's all that was. And the monthly channel just continues. You're killing it. Look, NVIDIA, guys, NVIDIA's now like closing in on 175. 173. We've been talking 190 for a long time. 185, 190, 195, doesn't matter. That's where it's going. If not, I mean, that's just a massive, I don't care what you think for the market capitalization. That's a strong, strong chart. Beginning, not ending, beginning a new wave here. It's a new wave. Awesome. S&P 500, like this, 63.50. Once we break that, it's gone. I mean, it's just, you know, hit me in the face, smack me upside the head, because that's where we're at. And you are so close. You're 63.32. Let me be clear here. We take out this zone, resistance zone, and it's only on a daily. That frees it up. That once you're like 60, I don't know, you're 64.01, you better start talking like 7K. You better start talking 7K once we get through this. So you're up here, a lot like NASDAQ. It's a bearish bat pattern. You have confirmation. You're retesting that area, and it just doesn't even care. So follow that, or even better is this. It's without the contract adjusted. You got these two levels. 63.52, 63.54. We'll probably clip it, maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday, and then let's see what goes on. I think of it this way. The second we hit the hop level, okay, as soon as we get the hop level, I'll give it 30 days, okay, and I'll say, even if it doesn't stop here, but I'll just assume, all right, 30 days from whenever, let me hit the hop, let me do some type of retracement within the next 30 days, and then go. I mean, go hard. Go where it's kind of like this. Maybe we come up here a little bit, have a pullback for a few percent, and then bang, new generational up wave begins. That's it. And yeah, it's a bubble. I would say so. I mean, look, when NASDAQ went from 1,000 to 5,000 back in the late 90s, people were already thinking it had gone too far. Like when it went to 1,000 to 2,000, people were like, all right, it doubled. That's enough. But when you got stuff like this, and you have the pattern. Again, I'm going to come back to this chart for years. Because if this is a failure, guys, at 6180, and it really, this has been the area we've been looking to for a long time. How did it get there? Strong. Ideal type 1, return, blow right through, massive bullish engulfing, continue. And that should continue. And we have precedent. You go back to these prior bearish patterns. All right? This is a similar one. Go back to 2014. You had the pattern. It bypassed it. You get a counter HSI. You go. And once you clear the resistance, it goes on a new track. I mean, that's kind of the example, although 2014 took a little longer. But we're looking for this kind of a thing. A trend resumption or price discovery move that is on an accelerated path. That's how close it is. I'm mind-blowing. Yeah, we hope we get a 20% dip. But I think that 20% dip you were looking for was April. That was March. Now let's hope we get it in crypto and get back in on some of these other crypto things. But major markets, guys, if you didn't see the June 20 presentation about how harmonic patterns fail and how do we handle those situations, check that link. If you didn't get that link, DM me on Discord and I'm happy to set you up with that recording. It's available to gold members on the website. But hit me up on the Discord. But I am, if you're in the markets and this is what you do and you want to see markets go up, you really should be embracing the massive build before the big acceleration move. And that's what I'm looking at. And every day, if you guys remember, a month or two ago, I was saying, come June, we need to see every day, every week with a strong build, green bars, continuation, higher highs, higher lows, even more important, and we got it all. Everything that we have described has been unfolding on track. Now, the only thing you need to see is a little more price through these levels to trigger the bigger scenario for the rest of the year, next year, the long-term scenario I've been talking about for a while. Yeah. LAC reached the, what's going on, Mr. Hooji? LAC, that finally moved? There you go. Yeah, but that's early. LAC, I know you guys have been asking about that. I just told you, just settle in. It's going to take time, but nothing wrong with there. That's a beauty. The one I saw that moved was Lucid. So maybe, like you see these happening, these were left for dead and now they're coming back to life. That's speculative money. Okay, and you see these pop off one by one. I'm not saying just jump right in, but it gives you more constructive signs. I'll take Tesla over that any day of the week, but yeah, it's not bad. That's a good first sign of that these low floaters aren't completely dead. Yeah, Nvidia is remarkable. Absolutely. Um, Quickly, guys, I'm gonna look at gold here, hanging up in this upper trend channel. I'm just watching it. I want to just say this. This is pretty remarkable how gold and Bitcoin, they've been bouncing around where gold was dominating. Now Bitcoin, watching up here around 33.50. That's still the number. All right, so just I'm not too worried about gold. I still think we got 4,100 on deck by next year, maybe 18 months, but all about this 33.50 level. There's a lot of other ones. I think what I'll do for next session is just dive deep on a new list, big patterns, big things that are developing that really probably we can start looking at these in a way that we haven't. Here's just one I'll throw up to you is Etsy. And it's just a lot of these that did crazy things during COVID. They came all the way back. You know, Etsy almost, it is a perfect retest at 42, now 58. But I'm looking at the stuff like that, or what was the other one? DocuSign. Yeah, there's another one. I'll serve up a bunch of these next time. Meanwhile, let's keep our eyes on crypto over the weekend. We want to see this stuff just continue to trek higher. For me, like the big event will be Ethereum above 4,000, or really above 3,600. But once we get above 3,600, we go to 4K, and Bitcoin is just going to keep raging. I don't expect Bitcoin to retrace, guys. If it does to 115 or 118, that's it, because I'm looking for it to move now. We'll do more on Tuesday. I know we're going to get Mitch next week. I'll probably get Mitch on Thursday, and I'll talk to Lieutenant Ponzi, get him in here maybe Tuesday or the following Tuesday. But until then, you guys hit me up on Discord and have a great weekend. We'll catch you on Tuesday, 12:30. Until then, as always, go get them, and we'll see you next time.